So according to the internet, the Chikorita line is the hard mode of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and today I'm going to test that theory by playing a solo evolutions challenge where I can only use Chikorita, Bayleaf, or Meganium throughout the entirety of the run for every Pokemon battle, with the exception of one double battle with Lance, where you have to let Lance in the battle with his Dragonite. There's no way around it. So if we take a look at their stats, starting off with Chikorita, we have a base stat of 45 HP, 49 attack, 65 defense, 49 special attack, 65 special defense, and 45 speed, with a total base stat of 318. As we transition to Bayleaf, those numbers go up pretty uniformly across the board: 60 HP, 62 attack, 80 defense, 63 special attack, 80 special defense, and 60 speed, with a total of 405 for base stats. And then once we finally reach Meganium, our stats go up to 80 HP, 82 attack, 100 defense, 83 special attack, 100 special defense, and 80 speed, with a total of 525. So it's going to be a pretty uniform progression throughout, no crazy changes from one evolution to another, but also no crazy stats at the end. We have pretty decent defense and special defense, but in a solo challenge, the most important thing is whether or not you can knock them out before they can even hit you. Having defense is nice, it lets you survive a little bit extra, but unfortunately, there's so much that can happen in this game that being able to just knock your opponent out is the true requirement to have a good solo challenge. If we head over to moves learned via level up, and we are looking at just Meganium's moveset because it's basically the same, just with different level requirements, we see that we do get a decent amount of utility, especially through the help of Poison Powder and Synthesis, and we get both Light Screen and Reflect. Those are going to be kind of nice, and we also get Body Slam at level 46, which is going to be huge, I think. We also don't have a ton of variety. If you notice, we mostly have normal moves, grass moves, and poison moves that are offensive. And if we head over to the TM list, that more or less stays the same. There are a couple additions in there. We get Sunny Day, which is nice for Solar Beam. We also get things like Earthquake and Iron Tail. Those could have some uses. One thing we don't get is egg moves or most of the move tutor moves, because we are only going to the Elite Four. We do not have access to the majority of move tutor moves until you beat the Elite Four, until you get to the post game. And the egg moves, I'm not going to do any breeding, so we're just using a Chikorita that you get when you select the Pokemon. So egg moves are completely out. One thing that does have me a little worried, though, is our variety. We basically have grass moves, a couple normal moves, one steel move, and one ground move. And if there are Pokemon that are not weak to those moves, or that are immune to some of those moves, there's not much we can do to get around that other than brute force with our other moves that are either not very effective or just do little damage because they just don't hit very hard. So we're gonna have to see how that goes as we progress, but moving to our first important battle, the first rival battle. There's not much to say about this. There's never anything to say about this battle. It is just tackle, 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 and one of us wins. And I have to win the fight, so eventually I win. Luckily, I didn't have to do a redo of this fight. It was a pretty clean sweep, just like it has been up to this point. So nothing crazy to say here, other than they're using Cyndaquil, because that's what Chikorita is weak against. So let's move on to the actual first important battle, Falconer. So here we are at Falconer. We have battled every trainer that's available up to this point, which is something that I do in all these videos, and that makes us level 15. So we're going to start off with the Poison Powder. Unfortunately, we get Sand Attacked. On my thinking here is if we can get the poison down and then just survive long enough with Synthesis, we should be okay. Unfortunately, that Sand Attack is really doing work, and I am just not able to assist the poison at all. Luckily, we get the Pidgey down finally. We have 30 HP remaining. I go for Poison Powder again, but unfortunately, I took one too many Sand Attacks, and it takes a couple tries to get that off, but by the time we do, we're already too low, and we lose that battle. All right, so we're going to try that again. We're going to see if maybe we just got unlucky. Hopefully, we don't have to go level up, but we'll see how it goes on the second time. First time, I'm going to do Tackle, and Tackle again. Get off of the Pidgey as quick as I can so the Sand Attacks don't do as much work. And then we go for Poison Powder again. It misses again. Unfortunate, but is what it is. Instead, we just go for Tackle, see how much it does. And it doesn't do much, and we faint again. Crap. So we're going to give this one more try, and hopefully we make some more progress. If not, then I think we're just going to have to go level up, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. we are a grass type, and Pidgeotto is a decently strong flying type, not fighting type, decently strong flying type, and as you see there, it just isn't working. So we are already going to have to go do some leveling up, which is kind of disappointing. You see there, I already battled all the trainers here, which is why no one's going to battle me. So I have to do this the old school way of running in the grass, which is going to slow us down a little bit. But more importantly, it's showing some signs, because this hasn't happened yet. We have yet to have a Pokemon that really struggled to get through Falkner. And we are already 2 levels higher than Falkner's Pidgeotto, and we are not even getting it to half. And that's a problem, and I'm hoping that this is just isolated to this instance, but something tells me that Chikorita really is gonna be a bit of a struggle as we go through. Alright, so moving forward a little bit here, we are about to hit level 16, which is the level Chikorita evolves at, and I always show the fight that we evolve into, just so you guys are keeping up with everything, but we're now level 16, we now have a Bayleaf, and we're here at Falkner once again. Hopefully the Bayleaf base stats are enough to make a difference. Starting off with the Pidgey, we're going to go straight for Tackle, and it misses. Tackle again, it one-shots. Let's go. Now we're on Pidgeotto. I think we're going to go for Poison Powder, which we do. It hits, thankfully. And now we can actually start doing what we originally planned to do, which was live long enough for Poison to do its work. Unfortunately, Roost is really slowing us down, and there's just not much we can do to overpower that. We just kind of have to ride it out until Poison and Tackle do its thing. We are down to 7 HP. I decided to Synthesis up. I am faster now, which is nice. And then Poison finishes it off. Level 16, took 4 tries, but we made it through Falkner. Let's go. Alright, so now we have made it to Azalea Town, where we have some rockets to deal with. And just like last time, I don't know if I'm going to keep this rocket stuff in. There's just not much going on. It's pretty quick, pretty smooth to go through, and the rockets are always so underleveled that I don't know if it's even worth including them. But we're going to do it again this time just to see what's going on, see if maybe Bayleaf is having a little bit more of a struggle, and maybe these will be more challenging as this series progresses and we start doing Pokemon lines that aren't starters. Alright, so here we are, made it to Proton, our first named Elite Four member. Let's see how it goes. We are level 21 now with all the battling we've done. Tackle one-shots Zubat, which is good. They are only level 12, so I imagine, like I said, there's just not much to say here. And then Razor Leaf takes it out. They're just so underleveled, and they never really catch up. So unless something really important happens, like what we're going to see here with Bugsy, I don't think the rockets are going to be all that important for these runs. But starting off, we're going to go with Poison Powder on the Scyther. And my thinking here was that I'm going to poison it and then survive long enough to whittle it down, because I just don't have anything that's super effective. Uh-oh. That was not good at all. Crap. Alright, we're going to try that again. Maybe we'll get a little bit lucky with the poisons. Maybe we can not get hit so much. Focus Energy, Magical Leaf does basically nothing. We get Leered, which sucks. And I don't know why I keep using Magical Leaf. It ain't having any effect. U-turn, one-shots. That is really, really not good. Okay, one more try. 3rd time's the charm. Let's see if I can come up with something here. I'm going to assume no. Razor Leaf does more. That's good. Razor Leaf is doing more than Magical Leaf. We do get a quick attack, which is unfortunate, and the U-turn. As long as Scyther is faster, I don't think we're going to get through this. But we're going to try one more time, because let's just keep hitting a wall until we get through. We are level 22, and they're level 17, so hopefully we can get through. The problem with Bugsy, though, is starting off with his ace. We do survive a U-turn, let's go. But starting off with the ace means there's really not a lot of time to set up. We can't do much with the other Pokemon to set up for the Scyther. We just have to deal with it, and that is not going too well for us. But let's see here, we're struggling with the Kakuna, but we are not, and we get poisoned. I was gonna say we're not taking any damage, but we did just get poisoned. That is very much unfortunate. Bugsy, you are a cruel, cruel trainer. We got through the Kakuna, back to Scyther, and U-turn to finish us off. Okay, this isn't working. We're gonna go and do the rival battle instead. Alright, so here we are on the second rival battle, and hopefully this time we'll go a little bit smoother than Bugsy, because if not, then we are genuinely stuck. He starts off with Ghastly. We're going to do a Razor Leaf. It almost one-shots. We do get hit with Curse, which is unfortunate. Kind of puts us on a time limit here. And you see that I'm kind of thinking, what should I do? We're going to go with Razor Leaf again. It doesn't do much. That's not good. That's going to give us a bunch of curse turns. And unless we can one-shot the Quilava, we just lost. Yeah, no, quick attack. We just lost to the rival. Uh-oh. All right, trying this again, second try. We're going to go for Razor Leaf again. And it misses, but we get Spite instead. Thank goodness we get that. And then Mean Look, no curse. With no curse, this should be a pretty smooth sweep here. We're going to just keep doing Razor Leaf. It does do half that time. That's nice. And there we go. Down to just a Quilava. Poison Powder to whittle it down a little bit. We do get Leered, which is unfortunate, but Quilava mostly uses special attacks, I believe, so that's not too big a deal. Doesn't even matter. Never even attacks. We're level 23. We have taken down Quilava. It is time to go back to figure out Bugsy. So I had a bit of a think, and I think I've come up with a strategy. Since we don't have access to any other moves that aren't grass type, I did something I really didn't want to do, and I decided to teach Bayleaf the HM cut. And I really don't like doing that. I want HMs to kind of stay off of the move pool, because you are locked into them until you get to the move deleter right before the final gym leader. But as you can see here, Cut is doing significantly more work against the Scyther, and that basically made it not a problem. Cut is definitely the play. A better play would have been to probably have kept Tackle instead of Magical Leaf. Magical Leaf just is not very good. I don't know why I took it. Would not recommend doing that. And that is going to be a bit of a theme here, where I make a lot of mistakes out of my ignorance of the game. I've said it before, but I am not an expert at this game. A lot of mistakes will be made, and we're going to find that out a little bit more here at Whitney, I believe, if I could figure out how to get around this corner. There we go. It's a little deceiving at 4 times speed. It's hard to navigate, but let's see how Whitney goes. All right, so starting off, we are now level 31 with all the trainers that we battled along the way. Razor Leaf one-shots the Clefable, and now we're going for the Milk Tank, and it's going to be a 3-shot, but with Poison Powder and Milk Drink to cure it, and we are infatuated by Love, which was a problem in the last video. Let's see if it's going to be a problem in this one. So far, we've only had one immobilized by Love. Let's go Bayleaf. Don't you fall for that thirst trap over there. There we go, and first try victory. Our first try victory on a gym leader. Let's go. So moving forward a little bit, we do have a random double battle, and this is a nice way to show you how I do double battles, but the main reason we're doing this is because this is the battle where Bayleaf evolves, gonna hit level 32, and we're gonna have Meganium after this. But as you can see, for these double battles where I have to use my own other Pokemon, I just use moves that aren't very effective. I just don't put Togepi away for some reason. I don't know why I don't do that. But all the other Pokemon that I bring out, they're either going to use moves that don't affect the battle at all, or negatively affect me, Bayleaf. You see, I'm using the Pidgey Sand Attack on Bayleaf because it shouldn't be there. It just makes things a little bit more true to the challenge. It doesn't really change much. Most Pokemon faint really early, as you can tell. They're so low level. They do get experience along the way, but that's not that big of a deal. They end up getting one shot basically every time they're out there. By the time the battle's done, I believe Geodude actually survives this one with a little help from defense curls. But yeah, so this is how the double battles go. I just have them out there doing as little as they can to impact the battle, because I have to have them with me because I need HMs. I need them to use their abilities, except for Togepi. I just never put Togepi away for some reason. But there we go. That's the battle. We're now level 32. I do not want to learn Sweet Scent, I believe. No, it doesn't really do much for me for a solo run, so we're going to cancel that. And after this, we are going to finally evolve and get Meganium. And now the run can finally really kick off. There's not much that's going to change now other than our level and our moves, so we can move forward with confidence, knowing this is as good as it's ever going to get. All right, so moving forward here, we are now in the Burnt Tower with our third rival battle. Let's see how this one goes. Hopefully better than the last time. So we're level 32 now, hasn't changed much since the last clip. We do one-shot with Petal Dance, which I learned at level 32. It's an evolution move you get, and that sweeps the Zubat as well. But unfortunately, the drawback of Petal Dance is we do end up getting confused after it's done with its cycle. It goes up 2 to 3 turns, and as you can see, that confusion really hurt us, and we come really close to losing. Luckily, we get 3 back-to-back on Petal Dance instead of 2, and it sweeps his team. That was close and a little scary, and I'm starting to notice a trend with Meganium. Let's see if it continues with the next major battle, Morty. Alright, so starting off, we're level 34 now, and we're going to go for Petal Dance, and it one-shots the Ghastly. Petal Dance, one-shot, does not one-shot the Gengar, and now we are confused, and we're hurting ourselves in confusion twice in a row. Luckily, Gengar is not doing much to us, and we do get another Petal Dance, and then he heals himself up out of potion range, which is really good for us. And then another Petal Dance where we're 3 in a row, but unfortunately it just was not enough. But we were able to get it off one time, and now we are put to sleep. Oh no. Hoping to get a synthesis off before I faint, but unfortunately I never wake up, and it's time for another attempt at Morty. I am not getting very lucky with these first try victories on gym leaders, and it is feeling a little hard compared to the videos we've done up till now. But here we go on the second try. We're gonna go for Petal Dance again, and it one-shots. Let's go. Petal Dance on the Gengar, and I get put to sleep, and I get confused. Man, just a double whammy. Shadow Ball knocking me out, wake up, but then I hit myself in confusion. And then I wake up and hit myself in confusion again, and then I take a Shadow Ball, and it's enough to finish me off. Man, Meganium is really, really struggling to do consistent damage. And I think it's going to continue to be a problem. And the main issue is, so far, all of the moves Meganium has access to have drawbacks. And now we're put to sleep again. They just don't do a lot of damage, and they also have drawbacks to the user. And there's just not much we can do to get around that if we want to have a decent stab move. Because there really isn't another stab move we can get except for Solar Beam. At this time, we could buy Solar Beam, but again, it has the same problem where you have to set it up with Sunny Day, which we don't have access to yet. So it's a 2-turn move. It's been a struggle for Meganium, but here we go. We're just beating ourselves against the wall till we get through, and I believe this one we do get through. All we need is some luck with the confusion, and we can hopefully sweep through. We do hurt ourselves again, Shadow Ball again, but this time we do make it through the Gengar. We're level 35. Haunter, we knock out the first Haunter, and then the second Haunter, we knock it out as well. So finally, after brute forcing ourselves, we finally get through. But man, it has been very RNG based for this run so far, and I think that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. But we get to immediately put that to the test with our next major battle, Chuck, the fighting gym leader. Alright, so here we are level 42 against his level 29 Primate. Petal Dance one-shots, let's go. Poliwrath, Petal Dance is going to one-shot, let's go. And that is something that I will highlight about Meganium and Petal Dance. It's really good against teams that only have, or trainers that only have 1 or 2 Pokemon, because then you don't get the crit, or not the crit, the confusion drawback to it. But any team that has more than 2 Pokemon that you're not able to one-shot, it really starts to fall off, and it puts you at a bit of a risk that just isn't very good for solo challenges. Here we are at Jasmine. We are level 42 again, not much has changed. We do get paralyzed and hit with Sonic Boom, and we're not able to get off, and now we're confused, and it is just the holy wombo combo. Another paralysis, holy moly. We finally get a Petal Dance off, but I think it's too little too late, and we get hit with a Thunderbolt. How unlucky is this run gonna be if that's how Jasmine goes? Alright, let's try that again. This time, hopefully we don't get the Wombo combo. We do Petal Dance right away. Thunder Wave, we are paralyzed, but we're still faster. Or no, we're not, they healed. Ignore that. So Petal Dance, took all 3 hits to get through. And now we are on Magnemite, but we are confused. Luckily, Confusion doesn't do much. We're at 38 HP for Steelix. Iron Tail does not take us out. We break out of Confusion and then one-shot it with Petal Dance. What a redemption fight. That was another really, really close encounter. Luckily, we made it through. It's time to move on to the next battle. All right, so here we are in the Rocket Hideout, and this is the part where I was telling you about the double battle, but I also include this one here with Petrol because While not much happens with this fight, the second Petrol fight is actually pretty interesting, so I like to introduce the character here because it'd be kind of weird if I'm like, oh, hey, now there's a Petrol guy. But as you can tell, we're just sweeping through the team. There's not much going on with this encounter at Petrol. Not a problem, even for hard mode Meganium. It just doesn't matter much. All right, now here we are at the required double battle. Like I said, there's no way to get around this. We have to do this fight with Lance on our team, and we just kind of live with it. It does mean that the chances of us losing are pretty low because Lance's Dragonite is level 40, and we're level 46, and they're level 25 and 18, so this should be a pretty clean sweep. We're going to go with Petal Dance and not one-shot the Arbok. I'm kind of surprised by that, but there we go. Arbok is down. Dragonite takes down the Drowsy. Like I said, there's just not much going on. We are confused already, which is unfortunate, and then we hit ourselves with Confusion. We get hit with Sludge. We hit ourselves with Confusion again, but Fly is taking out the Murkrow. As long as Fly keeps doing his thing, we should be okay. Out comes the Gloom. We finally are able to hit outside of our Confusion. Petal Dance is not enough. Fly misses. Petal Dance is still not enough. Fly misses. We are confused. And we hit ourselves with Confusion. Hit Acid. Fly misses again. Hit ourselves with Confusion and Acid. Oh my goodness. We just lost the double battle with 2 level 40 plus Pokemon. And I forgot to save before Jasmine. Son of a biscuit. Alright, I'll see you when I get back. Gosh darn it. Alright, so we made it back to the double battle. Let's go. Hopefully this time we get a little bit better luck. I'm just going to go for Body Slam instead. We are level 46. And then Body Slam again. Let's get away from the Petal Dance Confusion. Fly one-shots. Let's go. All right, now Body Slam again. Enough to one-shot. Dragonite goes to Fly again. We're going to get Body Slam and take out the Grimer this time. And that is out. Fly misses. Man, that is the most inaccurate flying dragon I've ever freaking seen. It's going to be a 2-shot from Body Slam, but this time it goes how it should have went the first time. We barely take any damage, and Dragonite needs to get more accurate with that flying. Holy moly, that was ridiculous. All right, so here we are at the 7th gym leader, Price. And this could potentially go really, really bad because ice types are really strong against grass. Luckily for us, Price doesn't actually use ice Pokemon. He uses water Pokemon. So this is going to be really clean sweep. I don't know why I didn't just do Petal Dance, but there we go. There's the Seal. Now we're on the Dugong. Now we're going Petal Dance. I was saving it for the last 2 Pokemon. That makes sense, so I don't have to worry about Confusion. And it's a 2-shot sweep, and now we are done with Price. Not much to talk about. First try victory. I think that's only our 2nd first try victory on a gym leader. It's been an interesting showing so far. Now we're up to Petrol, and this is the Petrol battle I was telling you about earlier. This is the one where it's actually interesting. There's more Pokemon. There's more going on. He has a full team, and we cannot Body Slam through them, even though we're 20 levels higher, and we are poisoned. Okay, that's the first coughing gone. We just have poison to deal with. Not a problem. We just need to keep hitting. Cut does half, and then we miss, and poison has us down to 10, and then Sludge finishes us off. That's okay. That's okay. We just got unlucky with the poison and with the smoke screen, and we're missing a little bit. It's okay. This time for sure should be pretty much a sweep, right? Petal Dance, one-shots the coughing, even though it's not very effective. Petal Dance again, one-shots coughing, but now we are confused. Is that enough? Nope. We hit ourselves Confusion, hit smoke screen, hit ourselves Confusion, hit with smoke screen. We knock out a Confusion, but we are missing because of all those freaking smoke screens. Finally, we hit with the Petal Dance. Let's go. Level up. Now we're on Wheezing, and he hits a Sludge, and I am confused. And I snap out of Confusion, almost one-shot the Wheezing, but unfortunately it was a little too late. Not able to get through. We are stuck. Here we are at Petrol. What a run for Meganium. Okay, trying that again. We're going to go for Body Slam, and it doesn't one-shot, but it does get a paralysis off, which is nice. There we go. First coughing down. Second coughing, Body Slam, not enough to one-shot. Hit with a smoke screen. Body Slam, miss. It doesn't miss, so we're good on that. All right, and then we get another paralysis with Body Slam, but unfortunately we miss our next one. Body Slam again. We're good. Body Slam is just hard carrying us right now. We have 104 HP. Hit with Petal Dance. It's going to be a 2-shot, but luckily we have plenty of HP to to whittle out, and then we're onto the coughing, and there we go. But we are now confused. We should have this in the bag. We just need to land. We just need to hit, not ourselves. Son of a biscuit. I cannot believe we are struggling this much on freaking petrol. Oh boy. Alright, so here we are on the final battle. I decided to equip a Petra Berry so I can heal on the poison for this one, because that was really the only major problem that we had. Petal Dance is sweeping through, and it hits 3, takes out 3. There we go, halfway through the team before Confusion hits. Now if we could just get past the Wheezing, I believe we'll have this. Petal Dance does hit. We hit with Smokescreen, then we hit ourselves with Confusion, hit with Sludge, and then Poison, but we cure the Poison, and then we hit with Petal Dance again. Let's go. And then hit it again. No, hit ourselves in Confusion this time. We snap out of Confusion. We finish off the coughing. Let's go. That's how it should have went at the very beginning. Meganium, I don't know. And now here we are at our 4th rival battle. Will this one be the one that goes really, really smoothly without about a hiccups, or are we gonna have another case of multiple tries? We hit with Body Slam. It's a 2-shot. We are down to 132 HP against the Quilava, and then we do use our Light Screen to help against the fire moves, and Body Slam is a 2-shot. Let's go. 108 HP. We are on Sneasel. Body Slam is a 1-shot. Let's go. Magnemite. Body Slam is not a 1-shot because it's a steel type. I don't know why I did that, but it doesn't matter. We are paralyzed, which is unfortunate, but we're just down to the Haunter. Not doing much damage to us. Petal Dance is doing a ton of damage to him. Shadow Ball down to 42, but we do get hit with Paralysis down to 6, and Petal Dance comes in with a clutch. Oh my goodness. How many times are we going to have these incredibly close battles? Now we are on to Proton, because we are back at the rocket area at the radio tower. We're level 53 here, and we use Body Slam, and it one-shots the Crobat, and then Body Slam is going to be a 2-shot on the Wheezing, and we don't get a poison, so everything just worked out great there. Finally, a fairly decent battle. Hopefully, it continues. And here we are against Ariana. We are still level 53. We haven't had a battle since the last one. It's going to be a 2-shot on the Arbok, but we take no damage, thankfully. Murkrow comes out. We hit it with Petal Dance. It is not a 1-shot. That is unfortunate. Hit with Nightshade down to 106 when the Vileplume comes out, and now we hit by sleep, and we are confused when we wake up. Fantastic. Hopefully, we do wake up. We've been in this situation before. We do wake up. We hit through Confusion. Let's go. We're still confused. We keep hitting through it. Let's go. There goes the Vileplume. We want to learn Safeguard. I don't believe we do, which is another problem with Meganium and this whole Chikorita line. There are a ton of really good utility abilities that would be great against or with a whole team. If we had an entire team, Meganium would be a clutch center of the team, a clutch support. Super good as a supporting role on the team. But on a solo challenge, you do not need a supporting role. You need a hard-hitting tank with access to good coverage moves. And there's just not a lot to offer, at least throughout the level up process, that Meganium can bring that really helps. But here we are against Archer, which is a fight I haven't shown yet because it's really just been a cliff note, and I believe this one's going to be a cliff note too. Body Slam, 2-shots the Coughing, and 1-shot the Houndour, and then we're going to 2-shot the Houndoom with the Paralysis proc. Yeah, not much going on. Finally, an actually easy battle, and that's kind of why I don't really show the Archer battle, because it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. But like I was saying before, Meganium is really, really struggling to have good hard-hitting moves that don't have drawbacks. And I mean, practically every move on Meganium's move pool has some sort of drawback if it's a good hard-hitting move. But we are finally here to Claire. Is Claire going to be the difference if I can figure out this puzzle? Or is Claire going to be another wall like she was in the last video? Hopefully not. We do have type advantage this time, and we do have a strategy in mind to get through, which we're going to see here very soon as I can figure out this puzzle. There we go. Let's get a save on, and let's get Claire figured out. Alright, so starting out, we are at level 57 now, and they have a Gyarados, but we have a new move, Frenzy Plant, which is a move that I got from the Move Learner. So Frenzy Plant is another really good move, but it does require a recharge at the end. Petal Dance is going to take out the Gyarados. We are paralyzed by the Dragonair, and now we're in confusion. Petal Dance is going to be a 3-shot on the Dragonair, and unfortunately they heal up, and we take a Fire Blast. We're not getting confused, which is nice, but Fire Blast takes us out. That's okay. The first one was a feeler run. Second try victory, here we come, question mark? All right, starting off, we're going to do a light screen to protect us from the special attack, and then we're going to do body slam. It'll get a crit, and it takes down the Gyarados. Let's go. All right, now we're going to body slam, take out the Dragonair. We do get paralyzed again. Fire Blast doesn't do a whole lot because of the light screen, and we take out the first Dragonair. The second Dragonair, body slam again. Dragon Pulse brings us down to 68. But now we're on the Kingdra, and now we're going to do Frenzy Plant. If we survive, we do. Frenzy Plant, one-shots. Let's go. Claire, the bane of Typhlosion's existence, was taken out in 2 tries with the Meganium, and probably would have been the first try had I been a better player, which is also a problem with this Meganium run. But now we can continue on to not the Elite Four because we have to do the mandatory Lugia subplot, which means we have to go to the Kimono Girls, battle all of them, and then we can go battle Lugia. And the Kimono Girls just use an EV evolution, one of the evolutions on each of them. But here we are on Flareon. This is going really smoothly. Meganium almost one-shots. Oh. We lost to a level 38 Flareon. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen again, right? That's not going to happen again. There we go. Frenzy hit it through. Espeon is coming up next, I believe. Yep, Espeon's here. Probably a Frenzy Plant again. If we can just Frenzy Plant through the entire, all 5 of them, we should be good. Let's see how this Flareon battle goes. Again, that was a little scary. Can't believe I lost that. Meganium, what the heck? Frenzy Plant is a 2-shot. Body Slam does more than Frenzy Plant. We have to recharge. We are down to 6 and a freaking Quick Attack. This is what I'm talking about when I say Meganium has drawbacks. Every move, and when we get hit with confusion, crap. Every move Meganium has that hits hard has a drawback. And it is really becoming a problem. And we are still not even to the Elite Four, where the real challenge of this run is going to begin. What the heck are we going to do in the Elite Four if we can't even get through a freaking Flareon that is 20 levels lower than us? This really is the hard mode of this generation, and we are burned, and we can't heal. We are not able to heal in between these battles, so now we just have to live with the burn for the next 2. Here comes Jolteon. Hopefully, we can get through this double team. Do not double team stall me. Thunderbolt, we're down to 44, down to 23. Oh, 26. We get a level up. We're up to 26 HP. Luckily for us, the last Pokemon in line is the Vaporeon, so we can hopefully just one-shot it with Frenzy Plant, and we are good to go, which we did. That was a 3-try on the Kimono Girls. Meganium is just struggling as this game progresses. The deeper we get into the game, the harder it is for Meganium to get through. Will Lugia be the difference? Let's find out. Starting off, we're level 59. We're going to go with the light screen to protect us from whatever Lugia can do. I actually don't know what Lugia's moveset is. So we're going to do a Frenzy Plant, see how that does. Doesn't do much. We have to recharge. Luckily, Lugia doesn't do anything while we're recharging. Body Slam brings it down to half and paralyzes it. Hydro Pump doesn't do much. Body Slam brings it down to a quarter. Hydro Pump doesn't do much. And Body Slam brings it down to a sliver. And then Aeroblast does quite a bit. If Lugia just used Aeroblast, this would be a completely different battle. I don't know how Lugia's AI works, but I'm glad it doesn't work very well, because that would have really, really sucked. That was close to not being a first-try victory, and it was all luck, all entirely luck that we made it through without that happening. Hopefully, we do not need luck for the Elite Four, but before we do that, we have one more attempt to take care of this rival without him being a somewhat close match. Let's see how that goes. Alright, since going through the victory road, we are now level 62 against his Sneasel, so we do have quite the level advantage. So we are able to one-shot the Sneasel, which is good. Probably one-shot the Golbat. No, we do not. Golbat's a 2-shot, but it gets paralyzed, can't do anything. Let's go. Out comes the Typhlosion. We're going to Body Slam it. It's going to be a 2-shot, but it's not enough to one-shot me and bring me down to half health. If I was lower level than the appropriate level, that would have been a loss for sure. Petal Dance takes out the Haunter, and Petal Dance one-shots the Kadabra before the Confusion takes in. Let's go, and we just got to get through the Magneton. Hopefully Frenzy Plant hits, and it does, and we don't have to worry about the cooldown. First try victory against the rival. That one was actually fairly smooth. It only took us the entire game to get there. But now it is time for the real challenge. As you can tell by the length of the video, the real crux of this run, the Elite Four. With our limited move pool, does Meganium have enough to take out 5 different specialty trainers? I don't know. It's going to be a struggle, and I think we're going to have to rethink our strategy here. But hopefully, we're able to at least make some sort of progress against the Elite Four. Let's find out. Alright, so starting off with Will, we are currently at level 62. We haven't used our rare candies yet. We're going to start with a light screen, and I get hit with Confuse Ray. Alright, so we're going to go with Petal Dance. I'm already confused, might as well commit. It only does about half, and then a U-turn to bring out the Jinx, and then I hit myself with Confusion, and then Jinx puts me to sleep. We are not off to a good start. Ice Punch doesn't do a ton, but enough to whittle me down while I am trying to hit through my Confusion and Sleep, and then full restore. I'm out of Confusion, Paralyze, and then a critical hit on the last Body Slam. We're good. Yep, there we go. One more Body Slam takes down the Xatu. Second Xatu. We're doing a little bit more damage to the second Xatu, but unfortunately, Psychic finishes us off. But there was a lot of unlucky scenarios there, so maybe we just have to try it again and hope for the best. This time, hopefully it goes a little bit better. Alright, so starting off, we're going to go straight to Body Slam before we get confused. Unfortunately, we still get hit by it. My thinking was if we take out the Xatu quickly, we won't have to worry about Confusion, but that doesn't matter. Body Slam is doing work. It one-shot the Jinx. Now we're back on the second Xatu. Body Slam does over half. Aerialist doesn't do much. Body Slam again, and we are good. No more Confusion. We should hopefully be able to get through this. Out comes the Exeggutor. Body Slam it, gets paralyzed. It's stuck with paralysis twice in a row, then a full restore. Unfortunate, but we're whittling us down. Paralyze again, man. Body Slam is coming in clutch, all those paralyzes. And lastly, you have the Slowbro, Petal Dance, or Frenzy Plant should one-shot it. Or I guess we're going with Petal Dance, and it was enough to finish the day. Will, not too bad. A little bit of luck involved to get through that Confuse Ray and Sleep combo that it likes to do, but I don't foresee it being that big of a problem in the future. Let's see how Koga goes. Alright, so here we are at Koga. He's going to start off with an Ariados, and we are going to go with straight into Body Slam, I believe. I was kind of thinking what would do more damage, but I think Body Slam will. Unfortunately, we get the poison. Body Slam takes out the Ariados, but the poison damage is just whittling us down a little bit too much. Psychic takes a little bit, and poison is doing, like I said, bulk of the work. Get a critical hit on the Venomoth, so it is a one-shot with the critical, but unfortunately, poison does its thing, and we fell. Alright, so I went ahead and made some changes to our move pool. I got rid of what we had, and we're now working with Earthquake, Sunny Day, Solar Beam, and still Light Scream. I still think Light Scream is going to have some utility as we go through the Elite Four here. But my thinking is if we do Sunny Day, then we can one-shot with Solar Beam. Or not one-shot, but one-turn Solar Beam, which will hopefully be enough to one-shot. It doesn't do much more than Body Slam, to be honest. That is unfortunate, at least against the Xatu, but then out comes Jinx, and then if I hit Jinx with Earthquake, it should be a one-shot, and it looks like it is. Good deal. And then out comes the second Xatu, and we're going to go for another Solar Beam because we can't hit it with Earthquake. And again, it does about as much as Body Slam did, which is unfortunate because I was really, really hoping that we would be able to hit before the Confuse Ray came out, but unfortunately that's just not the case. Solar Beam does take it out. I need to set up another Sunny Day, which I do against the Exeggutor. And then hopefully Earthquake was the wrong move. I don't know why I did that. And then I get put to sleep. I'm pretty sure Solar Beam would have one-shot it. And I'm sitting here trying my best to just hit through. Unfortunately, going to sleep was detrimental. And we have to try yet again. Okay, so here we are on our third attempt at Will. Earthquake does not affect. I don't know why I clicked that. I should have done Sunny Day. There we go. Confuse Ray again. And then Solar Beam hits through the Confuse. Good. Still not much changing for this one. I'm just hoping for a little bit more consistency. Sunny Day and a Solar Beam seems to be working fairly well. I just need to get past Will, I think. Will's the only one that really doesn't have anything that's super weak to any of the moves that I'm using. So I think that's really playing a part of it. Although I do kind of wish I had Body Slam still because It was doing basically as much as Solar Beam without as much setup required, at least on the Zatus. But here we are at the Exeggutor. We have the Sunny Day up still, and it was a one-shot with Solar Beam, just like I predicted it'd be. And then I used Solar Beam on the Slowbro, one-shot the Slowbro. That's how it should have went the first time. Let's see how Koga goes. Alright, second try on Koga, going on with the Ariados. We're going to go straight to Earthquake, and it does not one-shot, but we don't get poison this time, which is very helpful. So we're going to go for another Earthquake, finish him off, and then out comes the Venomoth. Now this time I'm going to go for Sunny Day because I can't use Earthquake against Venomoth, but I get hit with Confuse Ray. Solar Beam does not do a ton, and then I get hit with Toxic. Koga, you little sneaky devil with all of these status moves and Confuse Rays, and oh man, we were down 21 HP, wasn't enough. Venomoth stopped us with our new kit. Let's try that again, mixing it up just a little bit more this time. We have Body Slam instead of Light Screen, and everything else remains the same. I'm hoping Body Slam is going to be the change we need to get through, but let's see. First, we're going through Will. Basically the exact same fight that it's been, and that's not really going to change much. It's pretty consistent. It just takes a little bit of luck with the Confuse Ray. If I don't hurt myself Confusion too much, Will is a freebie. If I do hit myself too much or I get put to sleep, it's the end of the run for Meganium. So it's just got to get lucky, and there's that sleep. Luckily, Exeggutor is under paralysis, but it's still hitting through, and it's paralyzed, can't move, and that was just enough for us to wake up. But unfortunately, without the Sunny Day, we are not doing enough damage. For restore, we have to charge up a Solar Beam, and almost a one-shot. We're down to 1 HP. I don't know why I set up a Sunny Day. Should have just went for it. Dang. Okay, here we are on 4th try on the Will. Hopefully, we're able to get through so we can figure things out. Body Slam doesn't get about half. I get hit with Confuse Ray, hurt myself Confusion. You turn out of there. All right, here comes the Jinx. Hit it with Earthquake. Should have one-shot, and it does. Good deal. Out comes the Zatu again. Hit it with Body Slam, and I hit myself Confusion. Then Psychic hits me. And then Body Slam hits through the Confusion this time, knocks out the Zatu, and now I level up, hit a Sunny Day. I'm no longer under Confusion, and then I can smack it with Body Slam again. It heals up a little bit. Aerial Ace brings us down to 31, but Body Slam good, and we should be able to just finish this off with 2 Solar Beams. We should be good to go. It was not enough. Alright, we need to rethink this just a little bit. Alright, so here we are. We have decided to use all of our rare candies now, so we're up to level 66. Our moveset hasn't changed. I'm hoping that the extra levels is just what we need to one-shot most of the bonds. Unfortunately, Confuse Ray, and I keep hitting myself in Confusion through it. That's 3 in a row, and then I get put to sleep. This is not a very good showing. I wake up finally, hit the Earthquake. It knocks out the Jinx, I was already doing that, so nothing new there. Sunny Day fades, unfortunately, so I have to reset it up. Solar Beam does one-shot the Zatu, even though it's not very effective. Let's do it again, and we one-shot the next Zatu. Good deal. If we wouldn't have had that Confuse Ray issue, this would have been a pretty easy sweep. And there we go. One more Solar Beam takes us out. Solar Beam, Sunny Day. What a winning combo. Let's see how it does against Koga. Alright, so starting out, we're going to go with a Body Slam, I believe, right out the gate. No, set up Sunny Day, because why not? We hit with Spider Web, which doesn't really do much for us, gives us a free turn. Then we get Poison Jab. No poison, thankfully, and we are through the Ariados. We're on to Venomoth. We're almost one-shotting with Body Slam. Really lucky he didn't go for a Toxic like last time. Alright, now we're on to Muck, which should be a one-shot, I believe. No, it is a 2-shot, but we do get the paralysis. Unfortunately, he's minimizing. That might be a problem. Luckily, it wasn't. We're on to the Crobat. Just Body Slam my way through. It's going to be a 3-shot. Maybe a 4-shot with that heal. Nope, it was just enough. Perfect. Alright, we're at 95 HP on the Fortress, and we go for Body Slam. It goes for Swift. We go for Sunny Day. It goes for Protect. We go for Solar Beam. It does not do very much. Just hit Earthquake, please. There we go. Earthquake protected itself. Earthquake again. And Fortress down. We finally made it past Koga. On to the next Elite Four member, Bruno. Alright, so here we are on our first attempt at Bruno. We have all healed up, and we are still level 67. Hitmontop comes out. We hit it with an Earthquake. It does not one-shot. We hit with counter. It almost one-shots. That is unfortunate. Quick Attack brings us down to 20. We're going to hit Earthquake again, and it is enough to one-shot the Hitmonlee. Is it enough to hit one-shot the Hitmonchan? It is not. Fire Punch takes us out. Dang it. And I think this is kind of the point where we need to break this down a little bit. What exactly is happening, and what is the problem with Meganium here? The big issue is we're just not able to hit or take out the enemy mons before they inflict some sort of detrimental status to us. When it's Will, it's Confuse Ray or Sleep. When it's Koga, it's Confuse Ray or Poison. When it's Bruno, we have only gotten to Bruno once, so I don't know. I assume it was that counter did a lot of damage. I need to be able to one-shot against the Bruno or do something else against the Bruno to stop that counter from hurting. But on top of all that, our moves that we have available just aren't enough variety to compensate for all of the different typings we have to defeat. You see there, we're able to get through the Will just fine. This is just stuff playing in the background. This actually took several attempts to get a clean run, and it is because of all those problems I just mentioned. It's just really, really hard, and there's another Poison. It's really, really difficult for Meganium to get through without power leveling. At least that's what I thought, and I was really concerned that this was going to be another case of being in the 70s by the time I beat the champion. Luckily, that is not the case because I was able to actually look through the moves, and I came up with something somewhat interesting that I think will be very, very helpful. But before that, I do want to show one last attempt where we're actually able to get through the Bruno onto Karen. So let's see how that goes. All right, so here we are at the Bruno, and we are gonna set up. Nothing's changed. This was just me getting lucky going through. Set up with Sunny Day, hit with a quick attack. No problem. All right, now we do Solar Beam. 8 one-shots to Hitmon top. Perfect. Out comes a Hitmonlee. Solar Beam again. 8 one-shots. Let's go. Out comes a Hitmonchan. One more Solar Beam. Not a one-shot, just a little sliver of HP. I know they're gonna heal, so I go for Body Slam, I believe. Come on. Nope, Solar Beam again. I don't know why I did that. Should have went for Body Slam, but whatever. Set up another Sunny Day. Fire Punch comes out. We're down to 75, and we get a burn. I said we made it through this, and it's looking like it's going to be a tough one to get through. We're down to 27 HP. Solar Beam is enough to one-shot. Let's go. 3 HP against the Onix. Will Solar Beam clear up? It does. All right, so now we finally get to Karen. Let's see how Karen goes. So starting off, Karen comes out with an Umbreon, and I am going to go for a Sunny Day setup, just like before. Double Team comes out. That kind of sucks. I miss with Solar Beam. Double Team again. I hit with Solar Beam this time. Not enough to one-shot. That's 3 double teams we've gone through right now. Full restore. Then I go for an Earthquake. It does about half. Withdraws from Murkrow, and I can't hit it with the Solar Beam. So I set up another Sunny Day. I'm sorry, Earthquake. Set up another Sunny Day. Go for Solar Beam. It does not one-shot. We're down to 118 by the time Murkrow goes down, which is her first Pokemon we've taken out. Out comes the Houndoom. We do an Earthquake, which I believe one-shots. Yes, that is a one-shot with the Earthquake. Let's go. That's a pretty good solve there. Vileplume, we do Earthquake. Only does about half. We get hit with Stun Spore, like I was saying. We get hit with a ton of statuses. And then Earthquake is enough to take it out. Out comes the Gengar. And then I realize that I don't have a way of damaging the Gengar except for Solar Beam, and it works. Let's go. Okay, so now we're just on the Umbreon. I just need to hit 1 attack. Oh no, I need to hit 2 attacks. Come on, dang it, there's a heal. And because of all those double teams, we are missing like crazy. All we got to do is hit. Just come on, Meganium, just hit 2 in a row, and we're good. You just got to hit 2 in a row. Come on, Meganium, you just got to, gosh darn it. Come on, Paralyze, we got this. And oh, Paralyze, come on, we got this. No, oh my god. We were so close, but unfortunately, that's not good enough. So I had a bit of a think. I looked over the moves, and I believe I found the solution. We are back to level 62, and as you can see in our move selection, we have Sword Stance. Sword Stance, I believe, is the key to sweeping, and you can already see it in action here. 1 or 2 Sword Stance is all it takes to make Body Slam one-shot the entirety of Will's team, except for the Slowbro. I needed one more Sword Stance to one-shot the Slowbro. Not that it matters. Body Slam completely sweeps. Now against Koga, we're gonna do something very, very similar. Set up a Sword Stance. Or no, go straight to Body Slam, because why wouldn't we? Now we set up a Sword Stance on the 4 restore, and then we do Body Slam. It's enough to one-shot. But it took a crit. Out comes the Venomoth, Body Slam, one-shots. Let's go. Out comes the Muck. We do Earthquake. It one-shots. Let's go. Crobat comes out, back to Body Slam, enough to one-shot. And out comes Fortress, and we already know the Earthquake is enough to one-shot. I do a Sword Stance because I was anticipating a Protect, but unfortunately it did Swift first and then Protect, so it took a little bit longer, but there we go. Sword Stance is sweeping through the Elite Four. Now let's see how it does on Bruno. Here comes a Hitmontop. We do Sword Stance. It does Quick Attack. Not a big problem. Do a second Sword Stance. It does Counter. Third Sword Stance. It digs. That kind of sucks. So we have to waste a turn, but that's okay because we do Body Slam and one-shots. Hit level 64. Out comes Hitmonlee. Body Slam, one-shots again. Out comes the Hitmonchan. Body Slam, one-shots again. Out comes the Hitmonchamp. Out comes the Body Slam, one-shot. And then Onyx, one-shots. So as you can see, Sword Stance and Body Slam are hardcore clutches on Meganium. Sword Stance against the Umbreon, Body Slam, not enough to one-shot, so it's 2 Sword Stances against the Umbreon. So I hit myself with Confusion, I Sword Stance up again, I'm at 109 HP, I hit with Body Slam. Out comes the Murkrow, hit with Body Slam. Out comes the Houndoom, hit with Earthquake. Even though I'm pretty sure Body Slam would have been enough, hit with the Earthquake. Out comes the Vileplume, hit with the Body Slam. It's a one-shot. Let's go. Out comes Gengar, Petal Dance, not enough, because unfortunately, Petal Dance 2, and one more, Petal Dance 3, let's go. Unfortunately, Meganium doesn't have any physical grass moves, so I really didn't know what to use against the Gengar, so didn't get to utilize Sword Stance there, but let's see how we do against the champion. First, we're gonna set up a Sword Stance. And Ice Fang does a little bit. Another Sword Stance, Ice Fang does again, and last Sword Stance, we're down to 70 HP. Body Slam is enough to one-shot. Let's go. Charizard, Body Slam, enough to one-shot. Let's go. Dragonite, Body Slam, one-shot. Let's go. And I think we're pretty much in the clear here. Body Slam on the Aerodactyl, one-shots, and we got this. Holy moly. I should have just used Sword Stance the moment I could have gotten it, because it completely changed this run. Meganium, while she has a ton of useful moves, none of them are extremely strong, and they all have drawbacks. Unfortunately, the old tried and true method of Sword Stance Body Slam all the way from Gen 1 is sometimes still the best answer. And because of that, we're able to finish the Elite Four in a faster time of, I think it was exactly 16 hours, at a much lower level of 66. This blew Typhlosion out of the water in terms of time and level, but the experience playing through the game did require so much more knowledge and anticipation and struggle to get through because of just how weak grass types are in the early game and mid game, and just how limited Meganium's move pool really is. I should have just got Sword Stance as soon as I could. I think it would have saved me a lot of headache. But we'll have to see if that's true in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe and comment down below. Tell me all the things that I did wrong, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.